welcome back to my channel, NP Boss Mom. Today I'll be talking about becoming ANP from RN. So in this channel, you will learn about lifestyle tips, you will learn about being a nurse practitioner, you'll about being a nurse practitioner in business, a mom, and everything about me. So but today we're not talking about business, we're talking about becoming an NP. Becoming an NP from an RN. I got my notes, so you'll see me looking down because I have a student right now and she asked me some questions. I was like, wow, this will be something that other people want to know. So I'm going to let you know different things about becoming an NP. You're finishing school, you're about to graduate, you're anxious about getting a job, and you want to know some things about becoming an NP. So one thing is the saturation. Everybody talks about being saturated. Or is the market saturated? In some ways, yes, it's saturated. I also believe it has to do with what you want out of being an NP. If you want a specialty and you're waiting to be in the dermatology, or you're waiting to be in GI, and you're just like, I just want to be a specialty, that is going to be hard. First of all, I'm a family nurse practitioner, so I'm only speaking from being a family nurse practitioner, and I can speak to some about being PNP, which is a pediatric nurse practitioner. I've looked for both jobs, and I've been in the job market before I been an entrepreneur, so I can speak to looking for a job in the market. The first thing is be open to finding. Be open to different jobs that might come your way. My first thing I did when I became a nurse practitioner, when I graduated school, I had the motto of get my first job, work that year, and then go on to something else I liked. I didn't want to do pediatrics, y'all. Y'all probably think, what? You didn't want to do? I was a NICU nurse, and everybody assumed that NICU nurses want to do pediatrics. They're totally different, especially in the office. And I had worked in a pediatric office before as an RN, and I just really didn't care for it. So my experience made me not want to work with pediatrics. However, again, my motto was take your first position and then move on from there. So I had an opportunity come up. It was actually supposed to be a temporary job. I was supposed to go and do a locum job, and I got there. So beforehand, I got there after I had already applied for a lot of jobs on Indeed.com. So I got there, I got my interview, and she was like, I really like you. I would hire you on the spot. However, you're in contract with the locum job. I said, wait a minute. I have applied for every job on Indeed. So I know if this job has been on Indeed.com, I've applied for it. So that's another heads up. If you are applying for locum jobs, be careful with the recruiters. Because if you apply for a job before the recruiter has applied for a job, it's kind of like a conflict of interest. They can't get credit for something you've already applied for. So I knew this because a recruiter had told me that, like, what have you applied for? And I kind of made it difficult for them because I had already applied for so many jobs. So I told her that. I said, I think I've applied for this job before. So I was like, okay, I want this job. I told the recruiter that I had already applied for the job first, that he would release me from the contract. Then it was negotiation times. I come to another part of getting a job. It's negotiation. Negotiate. Because a lot of people feel like if they see that ad and it says, oh, no new grads, or it says $35 to $40 an hour, which don't take that. But I'm just saying, if it says something low, or it doesn't say anything at all, go to the job and see if you can negotiate for something better. So my first position was offering $50 an hour. And she said, I'm sure you want to have benefits, and I'm sure you want to have CEUs, and you want to have all this big package. And I was like, yeah, sure, I want all that. However, she wasn't in a position to offer me those things. I'm married, so my husband I had insurance through my husband, so I really didn't need insurance. So what I did was negotiate for other things. I negotiated for better pay. I negotiated for more time off. So those were my negotiation things that I wanted, I was good with just getting paid. So instead of $50 an hour, I got $60 an hour. And I ended up getting like a week off PTO. It was a small clinic, so I wasn't asking for too much. Also for they had a complete clause in the contract, and I didn't want a complete clause. I knew I might move. I knew someday I might do my own thing, and I just did not want a complete clause. I felt like, what if I want another job? I can't compete. So a complete clause means if you finish that job, like say, and then you can't work in a certain mileage of that job. So that pretty puts you, like if you quit, if you finish your contract, whether it's a year, 3 years, you have to wait in a certain amount of time before you can get a job in that vicinity. Did they say on that contract? I negotiated mine down to like 3 miles, or it might have been 10 miles. I think it was 10 miles because at first it was like 20, 30 miles. I was like, that's a long way. I would have to drive hours to get a job. So that was another negotiation. Another negotiation, they wanted me to be a private contractor. A private contractor is a 1099 employee, meaning they don't take any taxes out on you. You have to pay your own taxes. And I just didn't want that headache. So that was another thing I negotiated. I wanted my taxes taken out, and I didn't want to have to do anything with taxes at the end of the year. So that was some more negotiations I did. So you got to think about those things. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting $60 an hour. There's so much more to a contract. Read that contract, fine print. It's everything. If you sign that contract and you in contract for 3 years and you don't know how the working environment is gonna go, don't sign it. Negotiate that contract down to a year. I feel like you could do any job for a year. And then I'm saying I've had some hard jobs that I didn't even last a year. But I feel like that is fair. That's a fair thing, because as an employer now, I don't want to train somebody and then I get them everything they need to go for the job and they quit. I've had that happen to me, and it's very pricey. It's very time consuming, and I feel like a year is fair. So again, there's different things to negotiate besides just money and medical benefits. Look at your contract. Maybe get it read over by a CPA or a lawyer. I said CPA, but a lawyer or somebody who does these contracts. Even your consultant can look over it and say, well, I don't know about this. They're not a lawyer, but they can say, yeah, this is not really good contract. You really should deserve more. Or like, yeah, this is great. I take it. You're a new grad. So I started working there. It was a pediatric clinic that she really wanted to turn into a family practice. She wanted to start seeing more adults. She wanted to hire a family nurse practitioner. So I started working, literally thrown in the pit, guys. I mean, she stayed there like half a day and then she was gone. So I was like on my own out the gate. Again, you have to be open. Are you going to need to have somebody to work with? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a doctor there for your first job? And a lot of people feel that way. They're like, I'm straight out the gate. I need that person to go to and ask questions for. I had been a nurse for 15 years before I started being a practitioner, and I was confident. I'm gonna lie, I was a little scared and nervous, but I wanted this job. So got my books out, got my Google out. I'm not gonna even lie. I was like, I had all my resources. She was on call. I could have called her. But I just went with it. I went with the flow. And yes, it was difficult. On top of it, I had medical students following me my first day out the gate. I'm like, medical students, really? So I put on my big girl panties, y'all. I put them on and I went for it. I learned so much. I didn't have anybody to really go to and say, hey, what do you think about this? So I had to do my research. I had to learn these things. And I feel like if I had a crutch, that it would have stopped me. It would have kind of hindered my process in learning, because I would have had a crutch to say, oh, well, what do you think about this? My weakness was derm at the time. I felt like that was my weakness. And so that was the first thing I called a doctor about. I was like, there's a rash here. I don't know what this is. Well, this was her advice. She was like, if you're not sure what it is, give them some hydrocortisone and send them to dermatology. If the hydrocortisone don't work, it's not a rash that you could treat with dihydrocortisone. That was her literal exact advice. I was like, okay, now I know I'm on my own, because I could have did that. Well, so I started knowing my rashes. I started when I first saw Fifth disease, when I first saw eczema. I just did my research and I learned. I would go home and study every time, and I had books on books on books. And you know, I'm not joking. I mean, I did go to Google, and in school we learned how to look up scholarly articles. I did that. I went and looked at the scholarly articles. I went and looked at those resources that were reputable, the orgs, the Medscapes, the manuals, different manuals. You know, that was good. And Hippocrates, oh my goodness, Hippocrates, I'm giving a shout out. Hippocrates is on point. It's quick references. I like up to date, but it's like, I feel like you had to do a lot of research for it. But I really did use that in my experience for my first job. I also had a great MA. He was like in the biz for like 20 years. So he was a great resource. He had seen a lot, and he did a lot for me. So he would have the room set up. I just go in there and see him, talk to him, and diagnose. She was old school, so I had to write out my prescriptions. And so since I had to write out my prescriptions, I learned how to write out prescriptions. I learned how to really prescribe. I had to call them. I got embarrassed a lot. The pharmacy would call me and like, what is this? What are you trying to order? Oh, this is not, she had a lot of Medicaid patients. This is not covered by Medicaid. Well, what is? They won't tell you. So you start to learn medicine that is covered by Medicaid, and you prescribe those medications if you have a big Medicaid population. So that's what I did. And that was my point, is to stay open to opportunities. Don't shut down an opportunity because it don't look good on paper, or go for it. I even was willing to go to some of the correctional facilities. I definitely didn't want that job, and I didn't get it, but I was open. So that's one tip I gotta say to new grads: be open, negotiate, and also know your resources. Really, what you're learning in school, whether it's an online or brick and mortar, you're getting what you need to go by yourself. That's why I say don't cut corners when you're in school. Don't have somebody do your work, because when you get out there, it's your license on the line. My license is on the line, so I had to know what I know. Even if the doctor told me something, I would go back and look it up, because it's my license. That's one thing. That's one difference about NPs and PAs. We work under our license. They work under the doctor's license. That's a different subject. Going back to some of my questions that was asked. So another question was, can FNPs, family nurse practitioners, work in the hospital? Yes, you can. This is a misconception. A lot of people don't feel like you have to have acute care. You don't have to have acute care. I work in the ER. Well, I worked in the ER. I just gave up my position. But I was surprised when they hired me as a family nurse practitioner. I was like, don't I have to have an acute care degree and certification? They were like, no, because the ER is not part of the hospital. It's considered to be outpatient. It's like an urgent care. So that you can work in the ER, and if you're looking for more of a salary, hospital is the way to go. If you're not looking for these bumpkins of $45, $55, $65 an hour, and you really want to, come up with that money, you need to go to the hospital. However, most hospitals, especially ERs, want you to have experience, 2 years experience, because let me tell you, they're not giving you those long orientations like they used to. 2 days. I got 2 days of orientation. Let me tell you, I never worked in the ER a day in my life. Let me tell you, it was like, wow. I'm just a fast learner, so it was scary. I was like, okay, I was in another position, like beginning. Got in there, got my 2 days. I made sure it was 2 days. I was going to get a full 12 hours of learning. I picked a Saturday, a Friday, and a Saturday, the 2 busiest days in the ER. And I was like, I want to learn everything. I communicated the things I didn't know. I communicated that I wasn't used to it. And I let my peers know, like, hey, I'm going to need help. And they were willing to help me. And I really enjoyed my experience in the ER. I learned a lot, and I could take it. And I was still in business. I mean, I was the owner of my clinic. So I learned a lot because I was really PEDS-based. So being PEDS-based, I wanted to know more about taking care of adults. So again, be open. I keep saying that, but you have to be open-minded, and you got to be willing to take the jumps when it's there. When the door opens, you got to be willing to walk through the door. If you scared to walk through that door, it closes, it's closed, it's done. So that's been my success to getting a job. Hospitalists, some hospitals will hire FNPs, family nurse practitioners, to work as hospitalists. I know some say no, we don't. I know some hospitals have hired nurses as family nurses practitioners as hospitalists. However, they do want you to have QQ care to actually work in the hospital. ICU, on the floors, they want you to have acute care. But if you don't, a lot of times they will go ahead and hire you and say, hey, go ahead back into school and get your certification. I never really wanted to do that, so I didn't worry about it. Another job is urgent care. A lot of people are like, I didn't work ER, I don't know any of those. They will train you. A lot of positions will train you, but a lot of positions won't train you. It's so different from being an RN. RN, you go in, you get 3 months of training. If you're not ready, they still train you some more. You're like, I'm not ready. The NP, they want you to hit the ground running. Most jobs want you to be ready. I know a friend that works for CVS. They gave her more of a orientation, but not much. It probably was like a few weeks instead of a few days. And that's another option is retail. Retail health is big. CVS, Kroger, Walmart even has retail health now, and those give great benefits. So if you're looking for a benefits type of job, those jobs have benefits. Retail health. Also the hospital, great perks, great benefits. I wasn't looking for benefits again. I wanted to pay because I already have a benefit package. But those retail health, going back to retail health, CVS, they give a CEs. You get your educational credits for free. They pay for it. They pay for it up a certain point. So they might not pay as much in the cash pay, but y'all, that's another thing I want to point out. The package that you're getting, you might only be making $85, and you might not be making them dollars, like $55, $65, but the package that they give you might be worth $15,000 to $30,000. If they give you a good PTO package, they give you paying for all your health care, if they're paying for all your education, your CEUs, that's a package. That's money that you're not thinking about that you're getting. When I became an independent practitioner, I didn't realize how much I got from a job that was giving me a total package, like working in a hospital. I was used to working in a hospital for, like I said, over 15 years. And they give you all your education. You sign up for your CPR, you go get it. When you become independent, you don't get those things. You have to go find somebody to give you that education that you need, them certifications you got to keep up. You got to find somebody. You got to pay somebody. If you need ACLS, you got to find somebody. If you need NRP, you got to find somebody. BCLS, PALS, you have to find somebody if you're independent, if the hospital's not paying for it. So it's great to work for an organization that's paying for those things. That's part of your package. Pay. Let's go back to pay and part of your package. So say you're making $65 an hour, but you don't have the other package. That's making up your package. If you are with a little clinic that only has 2 staff and they just started, like myself, I might have to negotiate your package. Can I pay you more of a dollar amount? Do you need insurance? Can I get insurance for you? Again, negotiation is the key to get some of the things you want and to think about that base pay. I hear a lot. This is my main complaint. Well, as an RN, I'm making $45 an hour right away. You work a shift diff. You getting all kind of perks with working different hours, working different days, working the weekend. But what's your base pay? So you're coming from a totally different career. RN and FNP is not the same thing. Just think, if I worked 15 years as a RN at the bedside, I'm getting at the top of my food chain. Like, my money is going up. I started making 19 something an hour when I became a RN years ago, 2005, I think. Maybe 2006. 19 now to me was great. However, through the years, I started making more and more money with my raises, with, different things, that my incentives. However, when you are a new grad FNP, you are starting new. You are back down. It's like you're a freshman again. And so I don't think people realize that you got to build it up again. You don't have any experience. So you have to start at the low end of the totem pole. And that might be $45 or $50 an hour in Georgia. I am in Georgia, guys. And I know some of y'all like, for real? No, dog, I'm not making it. Again, think about your circumstance, your cost of living, the time you're working. Some people want day shift. Now you're able to go to day shift. You're able to have a 9-to-5. That's been your dream your whole life. A lot of other people are like realizing them 312s is gravy. And that was another big transition for me. 312s to every day of the week. Oh my gosh, it was hard. Because I was used to being able to work around things. And, 3 days a week out of 7 was great. Because you could, clunk your days together. Maybe even have almost 10 days off. So that's the things to think about. What do you want out of being a nurse practitioner? Sorry, guys, you hear my kids in the background. And I know this is supposed to be a professional video, but I've cut it off in a few times. I got kids. And I'm at home and I'm in between doing some things. So if you hear them, sorry, guys. I know that's an irritant to somebody, but I have kids and it's just a reality. They are home for during COVID, pandemic, and just have to do it, tell y'all, I got kids and they're loud in the background. I have a dog, he keeps barking, and I want to finish this video. So, and like I told you, I wanted y'all to see the real. This is the real. So, if y'all have any questions, things y'all want to discuss in my videos, please comment below and tell me, hey, I want to know more about this. This is getting long, so it's gonna be probably a part 2. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell for your notifications. I'm still learning YouTube, so I'm still putting together their things to help me navigate and to get y'all able to subscribe and to see these videos better. But again, thank you for visiting my channel. I hope you learned a lot today. I'm cutting it a little short because, again, my kids are at school, at home, and they're being loud in the background. But I will continue this at a later date. And take care. Bye. Thanks again for visiting my channel.